last Friday, I went to a concert. Now, not the kind of grand concert that's like super expensive and, you know, it's in the Royal Albert Hall and all that kind of shit. No. This was like £25 ticket in a little church in Kensington, with this little, I think it was 6 people, this little ensemble. There was like 2 violin players, a viola player, a cello player, a double bass player, and a piano player, right? And they played like a series of compositions from the Harry Potter films, right? And it was like an hour, and it was class. It was like, there was probably like 200 people in the audience, maybe maximum. And it was amazing. It was amazing. The fact that I can spend 25 quid to go and listen to beautiful music done by people who have mastered their craft and an unbelievable like skill level, and the way that that sent me to such a transcendental place in my head, because, you know, Harry Potter is a big part of my generation's childhood in this country, and so you have nostalgia related to the tunes and the rise of the strings and the beautiful quick piano and all of it was just, it was really great experience. And, you know, for the same reason, I'm going to a Ludovico Einaudi concert tomorrow with the same like group of people. And it's just like the fact that, you know, some days when I'm really hungry, I'll go spend 25 quid on Nando's. Do you know what I mean? Like, and the fact that I can get for the same price, I can get such a like spiritual, and I would use the word religious experience at this concert. I love the fact that these, you know, 200 people over, we don't really know each other apart from our little clusters of friends, but we all come here to watch a display of mastery and to be taken somewhere by the music. And then we all leave again and we continue that sequence and that pattern of not knowing one another, but we all come together for this collective experience. Anyway, from that, I think that generally I'm on a big classical music kick at the moment. And I was questioning why that was. We talked about it. We talked about it in the episode with Siggs and Farsi when we were talking about music and things. But it all comes down to this idea that music, to me, classical music specifically, represents the human experience in the most accurate way. Because it's not necessarily as happy-clappy as, say, pop music. It's not as dark and crashing as, say, like, I don't know, some metal rock is. It has beauty, but it has melancholy in it. It has pain, but it has bliss at the same time. It's like a sublime experience, classical music. And you can feel, like, I think it's because you can feel the whole spectrum of human emotion sometimes in one single composition, right? And I've been reading, as you know, I've been reading Kierkegaard this summer to try and stretch myself. And I think generally when reading philosophy like this, I was thinking about this in the shower. It's like you might read like 50 pages of just words that you're not really taking in. Like you're really struggling to understand what you're trying to say. The language is very difficult. It stretches me. But then you'll get like a paragraph or a couple of pages or even one line that just hits you so deep that those 50 pages that you sort of had to sift through were worth it. And Kierkegaard had this piece about music that I'll sort of go into as my philosophical drawing out from my experience of the concert. And he said that ideas exist on a spectrum between the abstract and the concrete, right? A concrete idea would be, there is a water bottle on my table. Okay. You can imagine it. You can see it. It's an idea that it's there, right? And an abstract idea would be something like love, like meaning, like character, right? And he said mediums also exist on a spectrum between the abstract and the concrete. And mediums here means like a way of expressing an idea. He said the most concrete medium would be language because it's the most repeatable. Like I can say to you, I saw my water bottle on the table. You can think of the idea of the water bottle on the table. The language is very clear what that's trying to communicate. He said the most abstract medium is music. And he said, like I said, so that sentence of the bottle on the table is like the most concrete idea in the most concrete medium. It's a physical object in the world, and you're explaining it with language. But he said music that's about abstract ideas, right? About love, about character, about meaning in life, which I would consider to be very classical music themes. They are like the most abstract idea expressed in the most abstract medium. And I think I drew from that might be why it has such a profound effect on me, because it touches the abstract part of myself. It kind of perforates my intellect and addresses like my spirit, my soul, whatever word you want to use, my psyche, because it's dealing with abstract ideas in an abstract medium, and it's not quite understandable to my left hemisphere. It's talking directly to the world of my right hemisphere. And that's why classical music can be so profound. So yeah, I'll leave it there and see if you've got any thoughts.
I think in general, the instruments that builds the orchestra when a a classical piece is being played, it's almost like they're deeper. I think about a violin and how it is very associated with sadness. And if you think of a violin, you think of someone playing that. People use it in jokes and how shall I get my violin out for you? It's very connected to sadness, but that's because it's just the way that the instrument works. It really does just have the potential to get this really sorrowful. Yeah, it's hard to describe, but I also would look at a cello, and you see this massive thing, and there's a woman right next to it who's very small compared to it, but she's all dressed very elegantly, just making these very soft and beautiful notes, and they all come together, and you're a bit overwhelmed. You're hit with it, and yeah, I think the feeling that you get is deeper than your usual music. So I think your first point I agree with. I like the abstract and concrete. I like that as well. That makes a lot of sense to me. I think I automatically think it's kind of best. I'd much rather, and I'd rather spend the time in the abstract, because that's when my feelings are really, they're kind of questioned in a way. You hear a new thing and you kind of contemplate what you think about this thing. So I really like living in the abstract when I consume art, but I know that's not everyone's thing, and some people don't like classical music and they just want to take away the kind of the addictiveness of the hard 808s and the catchy chorus. But yeah, I guess that's my thoughts. I quite like that.
I think as well, like your point about the violin and the cello, is maybe there's a hierarchy of like complexity and in how to play the instrument, or like the how I guess, yeah, how difficult it looks like it is to play, and plus the beauty of the sound that make it really like engaging. Because like if you watch somebody play, I don't know, like somebody play a basic recorder, right? I mean, it can be beautiful, don't get me wrong, but you understand that like they cover the certain holes with their fingers, it makes a certain sound. I'm not shitting on recorder players because it's beautiful. You know, every musical instrument is beautiful, but I look at specifically things like those string instruments, like the cello and the violin. There's no frets on the neck of that instrument. They've had to master exactly where to put their fingers to play each individual note. And like, there was one piece in this concert where this girl playing the violin had to play so quickly that it was a display of mastery. And she was, you know, she couldn't have been many years older than me and you. So she's been doing this stuff for maybe 15 years. She started as a kid, whatever. And it was just beautiful. And it makes me think that, you know, a lot of our entertainment, I guess, as a culture, has that same theme, as that we love seeing mastery. We love watching athletes at the top of their game do things that we know we wouldn't be able to do because it's taken them tens of thousands of hours to get that good at it. And it's the same thing with musical instruments. It's the same thing that we enjoy, you know, an artist's painting, or the same reason we like watching great actors perform great drama. We like seeing somebody who's worked on something for so long that their performance is so valuable. So I think that's part of it too. And the ability for music to take you away and alter consciousness. That's why I consider it a religious experience when I went to this concert. Like, people might hear that and think that sounds like really wrong and out of the question. But we've all congregated to this one setting, right? And we're all having our consciousness altered by the sounds. We're all going somewhere else mentally. We might be thinking about a moment in our past. We might just be enjoying the sound of the music. We might have our eyes closed. We might be looking at the skill of the people around us. But ultimately, it takes us somewhere else. It takes us to a different mental place than you get in your normal daily life. And that's why I see it as a kind of metaphysical experience. And it's something I'm going to try and do